definitely knew that. I'm going to talk more about how just encompassing and pervasive the sexist climate was during my tour in Iraq. I'm not going to talk about every degrading and humiliating incident that exploited the fact I was a woman or a female. The only way I was legally allowed to define myself, my gender, in the military. I could talk for hours about all that stuff, but there are a lot of things I'm not going to share, but I would like everyone to acknowledge that there are a lot of things we're all not going to talk about. So in the military, there's this thing called the chain of command. And in my unit, rank structure was used to coerce women into sexual relationships. At first, I tried to speak out and resist some of the things that started going on when we got deployed. I think the first incident that sort of set the tone for the whole deployment, we were still stateside. We're waiting to go to the Middle East in Fort Riley, Kansas. We were having a class outside of our barracks. And I don't remember exactly what the training was. It could have been convoy operations. It could have been the rules of engagement. We were told that according to the rules of engagement, we should shoot anyone that we felt threatened by. And we were told that we should be threatened by women because they could be hiding explosives under their long black robes and burqas that all women supposedly wore in the Middle East. We should be threatened by pregnant women because it probably wasn't a baby they had in their belly, but explosives. We should be threatened by children because they were supposedly used as bait to lure us into situations, which they were, in some, anyway. We should be threatened by men because they were hiding explosives under their long dresses, the robes they wore. I felt that all these things told us they were used as tools to either emasculate the male enemies or condemn femininity as evil and dangerous. We're having this class outside, and one of our platoon sergeants was in his room upstairs watching us from the window, and he took pictures of all the young females and later taped them to our door. Really creepy pictures, and when I tried to complain about this, I was told he didn't hurt us. Nothing was wrong. So this totally set us up for, there are a lot of instances where we tried to fight and tried to complain about stuff, and every time it was like, he's not hurting you. You can't complain about this. He's married. It's like, there's always this idea that you're going to ruin someone's career if you talk about stuff. There's another incident I'd like to talk about that on Christmas Day, 2003, I was at Baghdad International Airport, and a CID officer was drunk, stumbling around our company area, asking in, this is polite language for what he was saying, very polite. It's unfortunate, the FCC, because I wish, I mean, initially I just wished I could. Well, and I'm not going to say it, but I don't need to say it, but well, I'm going to say it, okay, but I'm just saying I wish I could use the words that were used against us. But anyway, so this guy was stumbling around asking. He had a cup of vodka. I found him in this storage room that we had on the side of our building, alone. And he flashed me his badge, and he was like, I didn't know what was going on at first, because it was my 21st birthday, and I had some liquor, and I thought maybe he somehow had found out or something. I just was like, why are you showing me your badge, He's like asking me, who can I F-word, who will S-word my D word, you know. and and at this point, you know, all the things that we had experienced were like, I just was really just like, get out of here, you know, just leave. But he was the guest of a woman who was put into our company. Our maintenance sergeant had a heart attack in Iraq, and she was his replacement from another company, another unit, a whole battalion. We were attached to the 234 Signal Battalion from Iowa when we went. Anyway, so, like, yeah, we tried to get rid of him. We asked this woman to make him leave. We thought that he had left, but apparently he didn't leave our entire area. And there was a young PFC at the end of the row alone in her living area, and the next time we saw him, he was bleeding from his hand, and the story that we heard was he had cocked his gun and somehow like caught his hand in it. I don't know how he cut his hand, but so that night there was a big investigation. Christmas Day, my 21st birthday, and you know, I don't know what happened to that guy. But that's one thing that happened in Iraq. I got 1 minute left. There's still lots of stuff I want to talk about, man, all this policy. One thing I want to read, this is a memo to commanders of MedCom, Regional Medical Commands, and the subject is military treatment, management of reported alleged sexual assault cases, payment for exams and kits. SAD kits, SAD kits, which are rape kits, are not included in TRICARE coverage. The Assistant Secretary of Defense is soliciting legislative changes to TRICARE benefit, which will include these kits within covered TRICARE supplies. Until that occurs, beneficiaries may be liable for bills for these supplies. Some states may have victim assistance compensation program, which will pay for certain accommodations for victims of sexual assaults, including SAD kits. That's how the military takes care of rape victims. There's so much I want to talk about. Recruiter abuse. I mean, you know, I work now for the American Friends Service Committee. I talk to kids about the military, among other things. Like, really, everyone in my office is a woman. It's been like one of the best experiences I've had to go from every job I've had, I've been like one of the only women, you know, and so to be able to move from that to something positive is really cool. But I got this call from this young woman in Chicago. She's still in high school. I want to say that the Associated Press did this study in 2006 that found 1 in 200 frontline recruiters had been accused of sexual assault that year, and there's no evidence that they were removed from their job. To further illustrate this point, put like a human face on it, this young lady called me. Her teacher called me, actually, and this young woman had entered the DEP program, the Delayed Entry Program. They had her. The way the DEP program works is they swear these young people in. This woman, she had even had blood taken, and she hadn't been to MEPS. It was really confusing because she didn't even know the last name of her recruiter. And I'm like, in the military, you go by your last name. She didn't know his rank. So anyway, this guy, I'm like totally out of time, but this guy, I'm just going to wrap it up. But this guy was at her school. He was harassing the teacher. He thought the teacher was a student, totally disrespecting, you know, the American citizens, you know. I thought the military is supposed to protect us, but this guy, they don't. Anyway, so that's all I'm going to say. But thanks for listening. So.